Years later, the alien queen found him again, the human who had risked everything for her part 2. The exile, the military court was cold. The lights were too bright. The faces of the judges were hard like stone. Park Do-han stood in the center of the room. His hands were in chains. His uniform had been taken away. He wore simple gray clothes like a criminal, because that is what they said he was. A criminal. A traitor. An enemy of Earth. The head judge looked at him with disgust. Park Do-han, you are charged with treason against humanity. You helped an enemy soldier escape. You gave aid and comfort to our enemies. You betrayed your own people. Do-han said nothing. What could he say? Everything they said was true. He had helped her. He had saved her life. And he did not feel sorry for it. Do you have anything to say for yourself? The judge asked. Do-han looked up. His eyes were calm. She was dying. I could not watch her die. The courtroom exploded with angry voices. People shouted at him. They called him names. They said he should be executed. The judge raised his hand for silence. The Sundari have killed millions of our people. They have destroyed our cities. They have taken our children. And you saved one of them? Yes, Do-han said simply. I did. The trial lasted only 2 hours. The result was never in doubt. Guilty. Do-han was sentenced to life in prison. But because of his previous good service, they changed it to permanent exile. He would be sent to the outer colonies. He could never return to Earth. He could never contact his family again. He would be erased from all records. It would be as if Park Do-han had never existed. His mother came to see him one last time before they sent him away. She was an old woman now, bent and gray. Her eyes were red from crying. Why? She asked him. Why did you do this to us? To your sister? To me? Do-han wanted to explain. He wanted to tell her about the golden eyes, about the way the alien woman had looked at him, about the feeling in his heart that told him he was doing the right thing. But how could he make her understand? I am sorry, Mother, he said. I had to follow my heart. His mother slapped him across the face. The sound echoed in the small room. Your heart? She said, her voice shaking with anger. Your heart has destroyed our family. Your sister cannot find work because of you. Our neighbors will not speak to us. We have lost everything because of your heart. She turned and walked away. She did not look back. That was the last time Do-han saw his mother. The transport ship took him to a frozen moon called Hera 7. It was on the edge of known space. Far from Earth, far from the war, far from everything. Only 300 people lived there. They worked in the ice mines, digging for minerals that Earth needed. Do-han became one of them. The work was hard. The cold was terrible. The days were long and the nights were longer. Most of the other workers were criminals like him, people who had done bad things and been sent away from civilization. Nobody asked about his past. Nobody cared. On Hera 7, everyone was running from something. Do-han worked. He ate. He slept. He worked again. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. He tried not to think about her. He tried not to remember her golden eyes, her white hair, her weak voice saying, "Thank you," in his language. But every night, when he closed his eyes, he saw her face. Sometimes he wondered if she was still alive. Sometimes he wondered if she even remembered him. Probably not. She was important. He had seen the symbols on her clothes, the quality of her ship. She was probably a noble or a leader. Someone like her would not remember a simple human soldier who had carried her through the forest. But he remembered her. He would always remember her. 5 years passed. The war ended suddenly. The news came to Hera 7 on a delayed broadcast. The Sundari had offered peace. Earth had accepted. Nobody knew why the Sindari had changed their minds. Some said they were losing. Others said they had found new enemies. The truth did not matter. The war was over. Doan felt strange when he heard the news. He should have been happy. The killing had stopped, but he felt nothing. The war ending did not change his situation. He was still a traitor. He was still exiled. He would still die on this frozen moon. 10 years passed. Dawn was 33 now. His hair was starting to turn gray. His face had lines from the cold and the hard work. He looked older than his age. He had stopped hoping for anything. He had stopped dreaming. He just existed, day after day, waiting for nothing. Then something happened that changed everything again. A young woman arrived on Hera 7. Her name was Quan Jisoo. She was a journalist, she said. She was writing stories about life in the outer colonies. Thought she found Dohan in the mining tunnels. She asked if she could talk to him. Why me? Dohan asked. He had not talked to anyone new in years. Because I know who you are, Jisoo said. Park Dohan, the soldier who saved the Sindari Empress. Dohan's heart stopped. What did you say? The woman you saved, Jisoo said. She was not just any Sindari. She was Empress Vila, the ruler of the entire Sindari Empire. Dohan sat down slowly. His legs felt weak. That is not possible. She was young. She was on a secret mission when her ship crashed, Jisoo explained. The Sindari kept it hidden for years. But I found out. I found records. I found witnesses. The woman you carried through that forest became the most powerful being in the galaxy. And the first thing she did when she took full control was end the war with Earth. Dawn could not speak. His mind was spinning with thoughts and feelings he had buried for 10 years. She is looking for you, Jisoo said quietly. She has been looking for you since the war ended. She sent agents to Earth. She offered rewards. But Earth told her you were dead. They lied to her. Why are you telling me this? Dawn asked. Jisoo smiled sadly. Because I think the galaxy should know the truth. Because I think what you did was brave, not wrong. Because I think she deserves to know you are alive. No, Dawn said quickly. You cannot tell her. You cannot tell anyone. Why not? Dohan stood up and walked to the small window of his room. Outside, the frozen landscape stretched forever, white and empty and dead. Because it does not matter anymore, he said. I am nobody now. I am just a miner on a frozen moon. She is an empress. What would she want with someone like me? She has been searching for 10 years, Jisoo said. Does that sound like someone who has forgotten you? Dawn did not answer. He just stared at the ice and the darkness beyond. Jisoo left the next day. She promised not to reveal his location. But she gave him something before she went, a small device that could send messages across the galaxy. If you change your mind, she said, if you ever want to reach out, use this. Dawn took the device. He put it in a box under his bed. He did not use it. 5 more years passed. Dawn was 38 now. His hair was more gray than black. His body was tired from years of hard labor. But every night, he took out that device and looked at it. Sometimes he almost pressed the button. Sometimes he almost sent a message. But every time, he stopped himself. What would he say? Hello, I am still alive? Please come save me? He was not that kind of man. He had saved her because it was right, not because he wanted something in return. So he put the device away. And he kept working. And he kept waiting. He did not know that far across the galaxy, a pair of golden eyes still searched for him every single day. Years later, the alien queen found him again, the human who had risked everything for her. Part 1. The rescued sky was on fire. Part Dawn had never seen anything like it. Orange and red flames covered the clouds above the battlefield. Ships were falling from the sky like burning stars. The sound of explosions filled the air without stopping. Do-hwan was only 23 years old. He was a simple soldier in the Earth Defense Force. He was not a hero. He was not special. He was just a young man from a small town in Korea who had joined the army because he wanted to help protect his planet. The war with the Sindari had lasted for 5 terrible years. Nobody knew why it started. Some said the Sindari wanted Earth's resources. Others said it was a misunderstanding that grew too big. Do-hwan did not care about the reasons anymore. He just wanted to survive. His squad was dead. All 7 of them. The enemy ship had crashed right into their position. Do-hwan had survived only because he had walked away to check something. When he came back, there was nothing left but smoke and bodies. Now, he was alone in the burning forest. His radio was broken. His leg was hurt. He had only a small amount of water and food left. The nearest human base was 3 days away on foot. Do-hwan started walking. He moved slowly through the destroyed trees. The ground was black from fire. The air smelled like metal and death. Every few minutes, another explosion would shake the earth beneath his feet. After 2 hours of walking, he found the crashed ship. It was a Sindari vessel. Small, maybe a scout ship or a royal transport. The metal was silver and gold, now twisted and broken. Smoke rose from its cracked body. Do-hwan raised his weapon and moved closer carefully. He knew what his orders were. Kill any Sindari survivors. No exceptions. The enemy was dangerous. They were stronger than humans, faster, smarter. 1 Sindari soldier could kill 10 human soldiers easily. Do-hwan walked around the ship slowly. He checked every corner. He listened for any sound. There was only the crackling of fire and the distant boom of battle. Then he heard it. A soft sound, like breathing, like someone in pain. He found her under a piece of broken metal. She was trapped. She could not move. Her silver blood covered the ground around her. Do-hwan stopped breathing for a moment. He had seen Sindari soldiers before. They were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. They looked scary. They looked like monsters. But this one was different. She was beautiful. Her skin was pale blue, not gray. Her eyes were golden, not black. Her hair was long and white like fresh snow. Even covered in blood and dirt, she looked like something from a dream. She opened her eyes and looked at him. There was no fear in those golden eyes, only acceptance. She was ready to die. Do-hwan raised his weapon. She was ready to die. And ready to die. Do-hwan raised his weapon. His finger touched the trigger. This was his duty. This was what he was supposed to do. But he could not do it. He did not know why. Maybe it was the way she looked at him. Maybe it was because he was tired of death. Maybe it was because he saw something in her eyes that reminded him of his own fear, his own pain, his own desire to live. He lowered his weapon. The alien woman watched him with surprise. She tried to speak, but only blood came from her mouth. She was dying. Without help, she would be dead within hours. Do-hwan made a decision that would change his life forever. He put down his weapon and started to move the broken metal. It was heavy. His injured legs screamed with pain. His arms shook from the effort. But he did not stop. It took him almost an hour to free her. When he finally pulled her out, she could not stand. Her legs were broken. Her body was covered in wounds. Do-hwan looked at her. She looked at him. Neither of them spoke. Then Do-hwan turned around and bent down. He pulled her onto his back. She was lighter than he expected. He held her legs and started to walk. The journey was terrible. Do-hwan walked through the burning forest with an enemy on his back. Every step hurt. His leg was getting worse. His back ached. His throat was dry. He gave her his water. She needed it more than him. He gave her his food. She was too weak to hunt or find anything herself. When her wounds started to get infected, he gave her his medicine. All of it. He had nothing left for himself. On the second night, her fever was very high. She was shaking and crying in a language he did not understand. Do-han held her close to keep her warm. He talked to her in Korean, telling her stories about his home, his family, his dreams. He did not know if she understood, but his voice seemed to calm her. On the third day, they reached a river. Do-han was barely able to walk anymore. His vision was blurry. His body was failing. But he saw something on the other side of the river. A Sindari rescue ship. It was searching for survivors from the crashed vessel. It had not seen them yet. Do-han looked at the woman on his back. Her eyes were open now. She was looking at him with an expression he could not understand. "Go," he said. His voice was rough and weak. "Your people. They will save you." She shook her head. She pointed at his chest, then at the ship. She wanted him to come with her. "No," Do-han said. "I am human. They will kill me." She grabbed his arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. She said something in her language. It sounded like a promise. It sounded like a plea. But Do-han knew the truth. If he went with her, he would die. If he stayed, he might survive. And more importantly, if the Sindari found a human helping their enemy, they might think it was a trick. They might hurt or find information. He could not let that happen. Do-han carried her to the edge of the river. The water was cold and fast. He walked into it, holding her above the waves. The current pulled at his legs, trying to drag him down. But he kept moving. When he reached the other side, he set her down gently on the ground. The rescue ship had seen them now. It was coming closer. The woman grabbed his hand. Her golden eyes were full of tears. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was weak, but her words were clear. She had learned those 2 words in his language. Do-han smiled. It was the first time he had smiled in months. "Live," he said. "Please, live." Then he turned and walked back into the river. The current was stronger now. It pushed him downstream, away from the ship, away from her. The last thing he saw before the water pulled him under was her face. She was screaming. She was reaching for him. But her people were holding her back. Then everything went dark. Do-han woke up 2 days later in a human military hospital. They had found him washed up on the shore 10 miles downstream. He was barely alive. But he was alive. And somewhere out there, so was she. Years later, the alien queen found him again. The human who had risked everything for her. Part 3. The Search Empress Vela sat on her throne, but her mind was far away. The great hall of the Sindari Palace was full of advisors and generals, all talking about important matters of the empire. But Vela was not listening. She was thinking about him. Again. 20 years. It had been 20 years since that terrible day in the forest. 20 years since a human soldier had carried her through fire and death. 20 years since she had watched him disappear into the river, giving up his own safety to save her. She had never stopped searching. "Your Majesty?" Her chief advisor, a tall Sindari named Lord Hyam, was looking at her with concern. "Are you well?" Vela straightened on her throne. "I am fine. Continue." But she was not fine. She had not been fine for 20 years. When the rescue ship had found her that day, she had been screaming his name. But she did not even know his name then. She only knew his face, his kind eyes, his gentle hands, his soft voice speaking words she did not understand. They had taken her back to the Sindari homeworld. The doctors had healed her body. But her heart remained broken. She was a princess then, not yet an empress. Her mother had died in the war. Her father was old and sick. Within a year, Vela took the throne. And her first command as Empress was simple: end the war with Earth. Her generals had been shocked. "We are winning," they said. "Why would we stop now?" "Because a human saved my life," Vela had told them. "Because if one human can show such kindness to an enemy, then perhaps they are not the monsters we believe them to be." The peace agreement was signed within months. Earth was confused but grateful. The war that had killed millions was finally over. Then Vela had started her search. She sent her best agents to Earth. "Find him," she commanded. "The human soldier who saved me. Find him and bring him to me. But Earth was a big planet, and the war had destroyed many records. Her agents searched for years. They found nothing. Vela offered rewards. She promised wealth and power to anyone who could find the soldier. Thousands of people came forward with false information, hoping to trick her. None of them were real. She sent messages to Earth's government. "Please," she asked, "help me find this man. He saved the Empress of the Sindari Empire. He deserves to be honored, not forgotten." But Earth's government was embarrassed. They did not want to admit that one of their soldiers had helped the enemy. They told Vela that the man was dead. They said he had died in the river that day, drowned while trying to escape. Vela did not believe them. "He is alive," she told Lord Hyan one night, many years ago. "I can feel it. Somewhere in the universe, he is alive." "Your Majesty," Lord Hyan said carefully, "it has been 10 years. Perhaps it is time to accept that he is gone." "No," Vela said. Her voice was hard. "I will never accept that. I will search until I find him or until I die." Those are the only two endings to this story. Lord Hyan was a loyal advisor. He did not argue with his Empress. Instead, he worked harder to help her find the human who had captured her heart. They found small pieces of information over the years. The soldier had been Korean. They learned this from the style of his uniform in Vela's memories. He had been young, probably early 20s. He had been injured when he saved her, walking on a hurt leg. But Korea had sent thousands of soldiers to that battle. Many of them were young. Many of them were injured. Finding one specific man was like finding one star in the sky. 15 years after the end of the war, Lord Hyan came to Vela with news that made her heart stop. "We found a journalist," he said. "Her name is Kwon Jisoo. She claims to know who the soldier is." Vela stood up so fast that her throne shook. "Bring her to me, now." Jisoo arrived at the Sindari Palace 1 week later. She was a small human woman with sharp eyes and a brave heart. She did not seem afraid of the alien Empress at all. "You know who he is?" Vela asked. Her voice was shaking. "His name is Park Dawn," Jisoo said. "He was a soldier in the Earth Defense Force. After he saved you, he was arrested and charged with treason. He was exiled to the outer colonies. He has been there for 15 years. Vela felt tears falling down her face. She did not try to stop them. "He is alive," she whispered. "I knew it. I knew he was alive." "There is more," Jisoo said. "I met him 5 years ago. I told him that you were searching for him. What did he say?" Jisoo was quiet for a moment. "He told me not to tell you where he is. He said it does not matter anymore. He said he is nobody now." Vela closed her eyes. Her heart was breaking all over again. "Where is he?" she asked. "I promised him I would not tell anyone," Jisoo said. "But I have thought about it for 5 years. And I have decided that some promises should be broken. He's on Hera 7, a frozen moon on the edge of human space. He works in the ice mines there." Vela opened her eyes. They were burning with determination. "Lord Hyan," she said, "prepare my ship. We leave immediately." Lord Hyan bowed. "Yes, Your Majesty. But may I ask, what will you do when you find him?" Vela walked to the window of her throne room. Outside, The stars were shining bright. Somewhere out there, on a frozen moon, the man who had saved her life was living in poverty and loneliness. "I am going to bring him home," she said. The journey to Hera 7 took 2 weeks. Vela spent every hour preparing. She learned more Korean words. She practiced what she would say to him. She imagined their meeting 1,000 times. But she was also afraid. 20 years was a long time. She had changed. He had probably changed too. What if he did not want to see her? What if he had forgotten her? What if the connection she felt was only in her imagination? "Your Majesty," Lord Hyan said one night as they traveled through space, "may I speak freely?" "Always," Vela said. "You are the most powerful being in this part of the galaxy. You command armies. You rule billions. Why does one human man matter so much to you?" Vela thought about the question for a long time before answering. "When I was lying in that forest, dying, I had given up hope," she said. "I was ready to die. And then he appeared. A young man from a species that was my enemy. He had every reason to kill me. His orders told him to kill me. His people would have celebrated if he killed me." She paused, remembering that moment. "But instead of killing me, he saved me. He carried me for 3 days. He gave me his water, his food, his medicine. He gave me everything he had, knowing that he would be punished for it, knowing that his own people would call him a traitor." Tears were falling down her face again. "No one has ever shown me such kindness," she said. "Not my family, not my advisors, not anyone in my entire life. This human, this simple soldier, gave me something that no one else ever gave me. He gave me hope. He showed me that kindness can exist even in the darkest times." Lord Hyan was silent for a moment. Then he bowed deeply. "I understand, Your Majesty," he said. "We will find him. I promise you." 3 days later, the Sindari ship entered the space around Hera 7. The frozen moon was small and gray, covered in ice and clouds. It looked like the loneliest place in the universe. Vela stood at the window of her ship, looking down at that cold, dead world. "I am coming, Doan," she whispered. "After all these years, I am finally coming." Years later, the alien queen found him again, the human who had risked everything for her. Part 4. The return. The alarm sirens woke everyone on Hera 7. It was the middle of the night cycle, and the frozen moon was darker than usual. Part Doan sat up in his small bed, confused and afraid. Alarms only meant one thing on Hera 7: trouble. He pulled on his worn jacket and stepped outside his tiny shelter. The cold hit him like a wall. Even after 15 years, he never got used to the cold. Other workers were coming out of their shelters too. Everyone was looking up at the sky. Dohan looked up. His heart stopped. A ship was descending through the clouds. But it was not a human ship. It was silver and gold, shaped like a leaf falling from a tree. It was beautiful. It was Sindari. "What is happening?" Someone shouted. "Why are the Sindari here?" Dowan could not move. He could not breathe. He knew that ship design. He had seen it once before, 20 years ago. Crashed and burning in a forest on Earth. It was a royal vessel. The ship landed in the center of the mining colony. Snow and ice flew everywhere from the force of its engines. People ran away, scared of what might come out. But Doan did not run. He stood still, watching, waiting. The door of the ship opened. Light poured out, golden and warm, in the frozen darkness. Figures appeared in the doorway, tall Sindari soldiers in silver armor. They walked down the ramp and spread out across the colony. The people of Hera 7 backed away from them, terrified. The Sindari had been enemies not long ago. Old fears did not die easily. Then another figure appeared in the doorway of the ship. She was tall and graceful. Her skin was pale blue, glowing softly in the darkness. Her hair was long and white like fresh snow. and her eyes were golden like the sun. Empress Vela stepped down from her ship and looked around the colony. Dohan felt his legs shaking. It was her. After 20 years, it was really her. She looked the same. Sundari aged much slower than humans. She was still beautiful. Still like something from a dream, but he had changed. His hair was gray now. His face was lined with age and hardship. His body was bent from years of hard work. He was not the young soldier who had carried her through the forest anymore. He was an old man, broken by life. He should hide. He should run away. What would she think if she saw him like this? But before he could move, her golden eyes found him. For a moment, neither of them moved. The whole colony was silent. Even the wind seemed to stop blowing. Then Vela started walking toward him. Her soldiers followed her, but she raised her hand to stop them. She walked alone through the snow and ice, her long dress dragging behind her. She did not seem to feel the cold. Doan wanted to look away. He wanted to disappear into the darkness, but he could not move. He could only stand there and watch her come closer. She stopped in front of him. They were only a few feet apart now. He could see every detail of her face. The same face he had dreamed about for 20 years. "I found you," she said. Her voice was soft, like music. Darwin's throat was dry. "You should not have come," he said. His voice sounded rough and old. "I have been looking for you for 20 years, Vela said. There were tears in her golden eyes. 20 years, Doan. I never stopped." Hearing her say his name made something break inside him. All the walls he had built around his heart, all the defenses he had created to survive, they all came crashing down. "Why?" he asked. "Why would you look for someone like me? I am nobody. I am just a miner, a traitor, a forgotten man." Vela reached out and touched his face. Her hand was warm despite the cold air. Her fingers were gentle as they traced the lines on his skin. "You are the man who saved my life," she said. "You are the man who showed me what kindness means. You are the most important person I have ever known." Dahan felt tears freezing on his cheeks. He had not cried in 15 years. He had thought he had forgotten how. "I am old now," he said. "I am broken. I have nothing to offer you." "You offered me everything once," Vela said. "Your water, your food, your medicine, your blood. You gave me all of it without asking for anything in return." She moved closer to him. Their faces were almost touching now. "Now it is my turn," she whispered. "Now I am going to give you everything." "Your Majesty," one of her soldiers called out. "We should move inside. The cold is dangerous for humans." Vela did not take her eyes off Dohan. "Prepare the ship. We are leaving." Dohan shook his head. "I cannot go with you. This is my home now. This is where I belong." "Your home is with me," Vela said. "It has always been with me. You just did not know it yet. I am human. You are Sundari. Our peoples were at war. They still do not trust each other. If you bring me back with you, it will cause problems. It will hurt your empire." Vela smiled. It was a sad smile, but also a hopeful one. "My empire needs to learn that love is stronger than hate," she said. "And I need you to help me teach them." "Love?" Doan's voice cracked on the word. "Did you think I searched for 20 years out of simple gratitude?" Vela took both of his hands in hers. "I fell in love with you in that forest. I fell in love with the way you looked at me, the way you held me, the way you talked to me even though I could not understand your words. I have loved you for 20 years, Park Doan. I will love you for 20 more. And 20 after that. And forever after that." Doan was shaking. Not from the cold, from something deeper. Something he had buried so long ago that he had forgotten it existed. "I thought about you every day," he said. The words came out slowly, like stones being pulled from deep water. "Every night, I saw your face when I closed my eyes. I told myself it was just a memory. I told myself you had forgotten me. I told myself to move on." He looked into her golden eyes, "But I never did," he said. "I never moved on. I never forgot. I never stopped." He could not finish the sentence, but he did not need to. Vila understood. She pulled him into her arms. He held her tight, burying his face in her white hair. They stood there in the snow and ice, two people from different worlds, holding each other like they would never let go. The workers of HFY 7 watched in amazement. The Sindari soldiers watched in silence. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Finally, Vila pulled back. She looked at Dohan with so much love that it hurt to see. "Come with me," she said. "Please. Let me take you away from this place. Let me give you the life you deserve." Dohan looked around at the frozen moon that had been his prison for 15 years. He looked at the ice mines where he had spent his days. He looked at the small shelter where he had spent his lonely nights. Then he looked back at Vila. Double quotes. "Yes," he said. "I will come with you." Vila smiled, a real smile this time, bright and beautiful. She took his hand and led him toward the ship. Her soldiers parted to let them pass. The workers of HFY 7 watched in stunned silence. As they walked up the ramp into the golden light of the ship, Dohan stopped and looked back one last time at the frozen world he was leaving behind. Then he turned and walked into the warmth, still holding the hand of the Empress who had crossed the galaxy to find him. The door closed behind them. And Park Dohan, the forgotten traitor, the exiled soldier, the lonely miner, finally went home. Years later, the alien queen found him again, the human who had risked everything for her. Part 5. The Honor, the Great Assembly Hall, was the largest room in the known galaxy. It could hold representatives from over 300 worlds. Every seat was filled today. Humans, Sindari, and dozens of other species had come to witness something that had never happened before. A human was being honored by the Sindari Empire. Park Dohan stood behind a curtain, waiting to be called. He was wearing new clothes for the first time in years, a simple but elegant suit that Vila had given him. His gray hair had been cut and styled. His face had been cleaned and shaved. He looked almost like a different person, but inside, he was still the same scared young man who had found a dying alien in a burning forest 20 years ago. "Are you nervous?" A voice asked beside him. Dohan turned to see his sister, Yuna. She had arrived yesterday from Earth. When she had walked off the transport ship, Dohan had barely recognized her. She was older now, with lines around her eyes and gray in her hair. But she was still his little sister. "I did not think you would come," Dohan said. Yuna was quiet for a moment. "I almost did not come. I was angry at you for so long. I blamed you for everything bad that happened to our family. You had every right to be angry. Maybe." Yuna looked at her brother. "But then I heard the full story. I heard how you carried her through the forest, how you gave her everything you had, how you saved the life of the woman who would end the war." She reached out and took his hand. "Mother was wrong to hate you," Yuna said. "I was wrong to hate you. What you did was not treason. It was love. It was kindness. It was the most human thing anyone could do." Dohan felt tears in his eyes. He had waited 15 years to hear those words. "Mother." He started. "She died 3 years ago," Yuna said softly. "But before she died, she told me something. She told me she was proud of you. She said she was sorry for hitting you. She said she wished she had been brave enough to tell you herself." Dohan could not speak. His throat was closed with emotion. "She loved you, brother," Yuna said. "We all loved you. We were just too scared and too angry to show it." The curtain moved and an attendant appeared. "It is time." Dohan looked at his sister one last time. "Will you stay? After this is over?" Yuna smiled. Where else would I go? My brother is going to marry an empress. I want to see that. Dawn laughed a real laugh, the first in 20 years. Then he turned and walked through the curtain into the light. The great assembly hall was even bigger than he had imagined. Thousands of faces looked down at him from the seats. Cameras from every world in the galaxy were pointed at him. He felt very small and very scared. But then he saw her Empress Vela stood at the center of the hall on a raised platform. She was wearing her royal robes, white and gold, flowing like water. Her white hair was arranged in an elaborate style, decorated with jewels that sparkled like stars. She looked like a goddess, but when her golden eyes met his, she smiled. And suddenly she was just Vela again, the woman he had carried through the forest. The woman who had searched for him for 20 years. The woman he loved. Dohun walked through the hall toward her. His footsteps echoed in the silence. Every eye in the room followed him. He climbed the stairs to the platform and stood before Vela. She looked at him with so much love that he forgot about everyone else in the room. People of the galaxy, Vela said. Her voice amplified across the hall. I have gathered you here today to honor a man who, 20 years ago, committed an act of such incredible bravery and kindness that it changed the course of history. She turned to face the assembled representatives. During the Great War between the Sindari Empire and Earth, I was wounded and alone. I was dying. I had given up hope. And then a human soldier found me. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Most of them had heard rumors about this story, but few knew the truth. His name is Park Dawn, Vela continued. He was just a young man then, a simple soldier with no special rank or power. His orders were to kill any enemy survivors. His people had taught him that my people were monsters. She looked at Dawn, but he did not see a monster. He saw a person who was hurt and scared and dying. And instead of following his orders, he followed his heart. Vela's voice grew stronger. He carried me through a burning forest for 3 days. He gave me his water when he was thirsty. He gave me his food when he was hungry. He gave me his medicine when he was injured. He gave me everything he had, knowing that he would be punished for it. The hall was completely silent now. When he brought me to my rescue ship, he refused to come with me. He knew that my people might hurt him. So he walked away. He let the river take him away from me. He almost died so that I could live. Tears were rolling down Vela's face, but her voice remained strong. When Park Dohan returned to his people, they did not call him a hero. They called him a traitor. They took away his rank, his honor, his family. They sent him to a frozen moon to work in the ice mines for the rest of his life. Angry murmurs rose from the human representatives. Many of them had not known this part of the story. But what they did not know, Vela said, was that the woman Dohan saved was me, the future empress of the Sindari, the woman who would end the war with Earth. She raised her hand and a screen appeared behind her. It showed images, records, documents, video files. The war ended because of him, Vela said. I ended the war because a human showed me that kindness can exist between enemies. Because one man taught me that not all humans were monsters, just as not all Sindari were monsters. Park Doan's act of compassion saved millions of lives. She turned to face the Earth representatives directly. Your people punished a hero, she said. Her voice was not angry, just sad. You erased him from your history. You told me he was dead. You lied to cover your shame. The Earth representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. I am not here to blame you, Vela continued. The war was a terrible time. People made terrible decisions. But it is time to correct this mistake. She turned back to Dawn. Park Dawn, kneel. Dawn knelt before her. His heart was pounding so hard, he thought everyone in the hall could hear it. Vela raised a golden sword above his head. By the power given to me as Empress of the Sindari, I declare you a hero of the Empire. You are granted the highest honors our people can give. You will have a place beside my throne, not as a servant, but as an equal. Not as a subject, but as a partner. She lowered the sword and touched it gently to each of his shoulders. Rise, Park Doan. Rise and take your rightful place. Doan stood. The hall exploded with applause. Humans, Sindari, and representatives from hundreds of other worlds stood and cheered. Many of them were crying. One of the Earth representatives stood up. He was an older man with white hair and a formal uniform, the President of the United Earth Government. Your Majesty, he said, his voice shaking, on behalf of Earth, I offer our deepest apologies to Park Doan. We were wrong. We were blinded by fear and hatred. We failed to see the hero that you saw. He looked at Doan. Park Doan, your name will be restored to all records. Your family will be honored. Your sacrifice will be taught in every school on Earth. You will be remembered as one of the greatest heroes humanity has ever produced. Doan did not know what to say. All those years of pain, all those years of loneliness, and now, finally, his people were calling him a hero. He looked at Vila. She was smiling at him, her golden eyes shining with joy. You never gave up on me, he whispered. Never, she whispered back. And I never will. Later that night, after the ceremony was over and the guests had left, Dohun and Vela stood alone on a balcony overlooking the stars. Are you happy? Vela asked. Dohun thought about the question. He thought about everything he had lost, his rank, his family, his home. He thought about all the years of suffering on that frozen moon. And then he thought about everything he had gained. A second chance. A family who forgave him. A place of honor among the stars. And most importantly, the love of the most amazing woman in the galaxy. Yes, he said. I am happy. Viola leaned her head on his shoulder. I would do it again, she said. All those years of searching. All that pain. I would do it all again to find you. Dawan put his arm around her. And I would carry you through that forest again. Every time. Without question. They stood there together, watching the stars. Two people from different worlds. Two people who had found each other against all odds. Far below, the galaxy continued to spin. Wars would come and go. Empires would rise and fall. But the story of the human who saved an empress, and the empress who never stopped searching for him, would be told for 1,000 years, because in a universe full of darkness, their love was a light that would never go out.